This is Robert Goodman, Positive Stroke Staying Clean, here on YouTube. And today I said that I was going to talk about step one. We admit that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. Step one. We admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. We realized that we could not use drugs and live, or whatever addiction that we have. We can't do this addiction and have a normal way. When we admit our powerlessness, and our inability to manage our own lives, we open the door to recovery. No one can convince us that we are addicts. This is an admission that we must find out for ourselves. So, to get into recovery and stay clean and sober, we got to get number one right. We have to get number one right. We have to understand that in our addiction, we could not control ourselves to live a normal life, to handle our business of caring for ourselves and our loved ones. But what we did was we put whatever we was addicted to be the most important thing in our lives, and everything else became second. Something to think about is it's truly something to think about. See, the only reason why I'm still clean and sober is that I gave up. I gave up. I tried every way to use and live, and it never worked. All I did was create more problems for myself. So when I came into recovery, I knew I was an addict because I gave up the things that was important to me for something to make me feel better. Yes. Recovery is something that teaches you about learning about yourself. Recovery has nothing to do with what other people have done. The focus is not on them. The focus is on yourself. The focus in recovery is to understand why you make the decisions that you make, why you do the things that you do. Why do you do the things that hurt yourself? See, the part of the equation that a lot of people do not want to look at is you grow, you live, and you get older, and you make mistakes. And some of the mistakes that you make hurt. You know you made them. You feel guilty about these mistakes that you made. but you keep moving forward, but you punish yourself because you made these mistakes that you knew that were wrong and you wish you didn't do them. So you do something to make yourself feel better so you don't feel the pain of the mistakes that you've made or what has been done to you. You've been traumatized by things that have happened to you in your past. And the thing is that everybody has trauma. Everybody deals with a certain amount of trauma in their life. Some people know how to deal with trauma and keep moving forward and not let the trauma overtake and overpower them, but they keep it in the proper perspective. Some traumas are from people that you love and you care about that do detrimental things to you, where you could never imagine this person doing this to you, and this happens, and then you feel guilty because you feel it's your fault these people did this to you, which allows you to put guilt on yourself, which causes you to go further down the rabbit hole. And you must make yourself feel better because the pain hurts. But normal people face their fears, face their problems. They go through the pain and the rejection, the tears, the sleepless nights. They go through all that and they come out to the other side. Recovery. Recovery is keeping the focus on yourself. Learning about who you are, why you do the things that you do. Step one is the most important step because you are surrendering. You're saying, I have a problem that I cannot control. I cannot control this problem. I cannot. So I'm asking for help. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to take direction. I'm willing to look into finding a better way to live my life than the way I was living it. No matter how painful it's going to be or whatever I have to face, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make my life better by doing the right thing. And in the rooms you hear, do the next right thing, one day at a time. Handle your business in one day. That's just 24 hours. Concern yourself about 24 hours. And you get through that 24 hours, then you concern yourself about the next 24 hours and do the best you can in that 24 hours. And you keep doing that. And as you keep doing these days, you can have gratitude about the things that you've accomplished each and every day moving forward until you have a history of gratitude. You can't even recognize yourself anymore because how far you came into your recovery. And the reason why is you admitted that you have a problem and you cannot control it. You need help. And that's the beginning of recovery. That opens the door for you to listen, to learn, to listen to the mistakes that people made in recovery so you don't have to make them. how they say when you come in recovery, they give you go to a meeting, tell them this is my first meeting. They give you a list of phone numbers. People write down their phone numbers, call them, letting you know that you're not alone. That we all did the way you came in, somebody came in the same way you did into recovery. Other people came in, the people come in different types of ways. But the point is we're all here fighting one battle. And stop allowing something to control us, that we destroy ourselves and others. Recovery. Recovery is a lifetime, full-time job. The more you put into recovery, the more benefit you will receive. You'll get to understand yourselves a whole lot better. You'll be surprised. An interesting thing is, I surprised myself when the recovery changed who I am and how I look at things, how I perceive things to be. It made me look at it in the proper manner. And recovery taught me to be grateful for the little things, for the little accomplishments. Not the big things, but the little things. Because when you pay attention to the little things, it takes a lot of little things to make a big thing. Like you nipping at. It's just like in your home. You start decorating and stuff. You start in one of the rooms and you decorate that room. Then you do the outer part of the room. Then you do the next room and so on. You keep doing sections of the house until the whole house is decorated and completed. The same thing in our recovery. We chip away at the old person. We throw that away. And we put in the new person, which is recovery. And your behavior changes. Your outlook on life changes. When you talk about your addiction, people, I know you lied. You wasn't like that. You wasn't like that. Because you don't look like that no more. You don't act like that no more. You live life on life's terms today. And see, the better you live your life, and the more you listen to the pain of others, gives you compassion to help somebody else. Because you feel it when a person is sharing their pain with you, when you hear it. You feel it deeply because you know the pain in addiction. You know the loneliness in addiction. You know the despair in addiction. You know how you hate yourself because you've hurt people that you love. But you had to have what you had to have. Yes. But when you come over to the other side into recovery and you start working on yourself, you see yourself get better, then you're going to work more on yourself. When I realized, see, I used to say in my videos, drugs made me a dope. Now I got hope because I'm not no dope anymore because I'm clean and sober. I called myself a dope for 40 years because I lived in my own bubble. I lived in my own world. I medicated myself. So, but when I realized this, I came into recovery and I started looking at myself. I didn't like who I saw. So I changed my behavior immediately and started working on myself. I wasn't pointing the finger at what anybody else was doing. I personally really didn't care because I know I had a long way to travel, a long road to have a better life than what I was living. And it took some work. And I knew it was going to take some work. So can't cry over spilled milk. I got to put work in so I go get me a new carton. I got to put in work because addiction took everything from me. So if I want a better life, I better put some work in. And every time I would come up with a problem or situation in my recovery, the first thing I would say to myself is, if I was doing the right thing, I wouldn't be in this situation right now. And that would keep me focused. Every time I hit a wall, Robert, if you was doing the right thing, you wouldn't be experiencing what you're experiencing right now. Another thing that recovery taught me was understand what you do and why you do it. Understand when your feelings got in the way of making a bad decision, or you made a good decision and you didn't let your feelings get in the way. But either way, you learn about yourself. You take that information and you store it here. Understand yourself. By understanding yourself, you're loving yourself. Because when it's time to make a decision about something, you're going to make it in the right frame of mind because you're paying attention to yourself and your own actions. The thing is, we're all imperfect and we're all going to make mistakes. But the thing is that if we pay attention to our own actions, we make less mistakes. Or we get less bent out of shape when things happen to us. Because we understand if it's real important or if it's not real important. And for us not to blow it all out of proportion. Some things need immediate attention because they're serious. But a lot of stuff usually is on acting on feelings and emotions. And once we understand that, then we won't be making all those unnecessary mistakes. And then here's the thing. When you listen to other recovering addicts share some of their pain, they're telling you what not to do because they did that and it didn't work. So I wouldn't recommend for you to try that. And that's how we get better. So, step one is a very important step. You must get that right. You must understand that you have no control. If something makes you act other than yourself, that would make you put it in front of everything that's important to you, then you have a problem with that. So this is Robert Gilman from Positive Stroke, Staying Clean on YouTube. I hope you'll have a great night and understand that only you can live your best life if you keep the focus on yourself. You'll have a great night.